I am back. So, today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the Daggerheart world building I've been doing. Um, so, if you guys don't know what that is, Daggerheart is Critical Role's upcoming RPG that they are putting out. It's more of a system than an actual like full RPG. It's really cool though. I've been beta testing it since they uh, started doing that. Um, and I really enjoy the system. And I think it's really fun. Um, and they sent out like these campaign frames, so sort of suggestions on like little ideas on how to run a game, sort of like a theme and stuff like that. There's gonna be more of them in the book. I'm sure they're gonna be more fleshed out than than what we were initially given. But during the beta testing, there came a point where people wanted more than just one shots, which is something that has sort of been happening throughout my entire DMing career at my store that I work at. So I decided to build a campaign. And in order to do that, I had to do a little bit of world building for the first time. Normally, that's not my shtick. Normally, I prefer to, like, say, take Eberron or Greyhawk, for example, and have that be my setting, and then I just homebrew within that world, and I don't really do a whole lot of world building. But because Daggerheart doesn't have a whole lot of stuff out right now, because its full release is next month in May 20th, so I had to start doing things sort of on my own for the first time, which was very scary, very daunting. Now that I've actually done it a little bit, it's still scary and daunting, but I have a better grasp of how to do things, and I've been progressing my campaign forward kind of that way. So, so one of the campaign frames that they suggested was a five banners burning, is what they dubbed it, and it's sort of five different nations on this world that are sort of at odds with one another. Now, for just of ease of things, for me, I put all of them on the same continent. That seemed to kind of make things a little more dire, and yeah. So the names might change if I ever decide to produce the campaign setting that I've kind of been making, because I'm not sure if they're going to have that the names be like, copyrighted or anything. So, but yeah, so the five different nations are Gesthaean, Voldaean, Hilltop, Armada, and Polaris. Now, I decided to start the party off in Gesthaean, which, with some of the little bit of lore and stuff that they gave us to kind of go off of, recently became a new nation split off from a civil war with Voldaean. So, with them being a new nation and everything, I decided to give that particular area like a new construction vibe, but still have it be sort of based off of like medieval-esque architecture and sort of feel. So when you enter into Gesthaean, everything's sort of, there's always like some new building being built. There's some new project going on. Commerce is flowing. There's people always doing something. It's a active and very alive environment, and there's like scaffolding everywhere. But yeah, and so I decided that the hierarchy of Gesthaean, in stark contrast to Voldaean, would be sort of a I forget the official word, but they all do like popular vote and vote for the king who's going to be king or queen, excuse me, who's going to be in charge of the kingdom for a set number of years, and then they do the popular vote again whenever things sort of die down. But in addition to the king, there's also like a little parliament and all that stuff, and there's advisors and all that jazz. Now, in contrast with Voldaean, which is very, I wanted to go like very traditional sort of um, Britain sort of vibe. Um, so you have your very traditional like monarchy system where everything trickles down from the ruling class, which would be the for them, I believe they have a queen right now, and so they were very uh, not so great. Um, Lots of high taxes and things like that. And they are also sort of like the traditional medieval vibe, but a lot older, much more established. There's a lot of older buildings and construction, and outside their gates, you can actually still see remnants of the battlefield from when they had the Civil War, and where Justinian was formed. Um, Now, in contrast to both of these nations, you have Armada, which is a nation of pirates out at sea. Rather than having like a designated island or something, they have sort of this man-made landmass that's sort of made out of various scraps of like wood, wrecked ships, all this stuff, and at the center of it is this makeshift castle that is just all of these wrecked derelict ships stacked on top of one another that have been hollowed out to make this fortress, and that is where the ruler of the pirates is based out of. Which for these purposes, I decided to make a goblin. Yeah, and they are all based off of like naval hierarchy. So yeah, that was very fun for me to do because the streets of Armada are so drastically different from the other two. There's almost like a perpetual sway, a little bit of motion that only dies down as you get closer towards the center. And they had like a big water-based gladiatorial fighting pit. They were very much using like black powder and things like that. Very Tortuga vibes, and honestly, I think it was one of my players' like most favorite places to go yet, and it's a lot of fun. Now their big thing is they're at odds with Polaris right now because Polaris has sort of they've begun creating airships and things like that. And, you know, they're pirates, so they want to expand their prospects into the sky as well. And so that's kind of where they're at odds with them. And Polaris, I took a big inspiration from a campaign I played in with my friend Britt. She introduced me to Crystal Punk. It's like steampunk and cyberpunk, but it's with crystals. And think Final Fantasy, where everything's like crystal powered. And recently, in recent years, the city of Polaris managed to utilize the subterranean crystals in their city to levitate it up out of the earth and have it be perpetually hovering over the landmass. And through this similar technology, they've been able to create their airships and things like that. It all runs off of crystals. And looking at it from the bottom, you can actually see them jutting out from the city itself. Now, in addition to this, I decided to take an interesting turn with things. I wanted them to be very like mageocracy and very like magic tech based. So they're always trying to find the next best thing, always trying to improve, always trying to be better. And in secret, what they have been doing is this. There is a race in Daggerheart called Clanks. Now, a lot of the lore based around Clanks hasn't been released yet. So what I decided to do was this. Polaris has been secretly trying to convert all of their populace into machine bodies. Some of them by force, others voluntarily. And I've been sort of alluding to this throughout the campaign as they've come across Polarian armies and peoples and things like that. They actually had to go to a refueling station out at sea and steal a Polarian airship for Armada in order to gain Armada's favor. And it was there that I started to plant the seeds. So they had to fight a couple of Polarian clanks, and one of them, they decided to slash across the chest or something, and they were like, the arms went up like they were trying to clutch themselves as if they were trying to like keep their innards from spilling out. And one of the last things I had them say was, they said it wouldn't hurt. Which I felt like was kind of a really messed up thing to do, but it was really killer, and none of them really caught on to it. But yeah, so that's what's going on there. But something I decided to do was take a bit of a turn, because whenever you see Crystal Punk in, again, like Final Fantasy, it's always this, like, pretty and clean and all this stuff. And yeah, sure, I decided to have it look like that on the surface. But throughout the events of their campaign, a lot of people have been pointing out that the great beasts of the land have been growing larger, more feral, going through rapid stages of adaptation and changing in ways that they couldn't even predict. And it's because Polaris, knowingly or not, I haven't quite decided that one yet, when they did the thing where they rose their city out of the earth and were using the crystals, they were inadvertently causing mana pollution, because they were drawing in more pure mana from the earth to keep their city aloft than they were dispersing in order to balance out the ecosystem. Think of it like car fumes. They're putting out more dangerous fumes, and because of that, the creatures are feeding off of that. They're adapting and changing in ways that they shouldn't. And the only real way to fix that is to convince Polaris to put their shit back in the ground, and they haven't quite gotten that yet. So, yeah, that's kind of what's been going on there. But yeah, and then finally there's Hilltop. So Hilltop, per the description that we got, was supposed to be like the religious center of the world. It is the place where the gods ruled before they departed from the world and everything. And so I decided to make them very much like Vatican-esque, very preachy. Yeah, the streets have a lot of like white marble and gold filigree and all this other stuff. And they are actually they are trying to avoid going there because the party did something interesting. Like I said, they started out working for Justhaeon, and all 5 nations are sort of in a Cold War situation right now. So when they did a favor for one of the Arcanists are the highest level spellcasters in the land, they sent them to the king to see if he would help them out with some of the beasts that have been going rampant. And they did, but the king was sort of a favor for a favor kind of guy, because he couldn't just send troops out into the wild to help deal with this without some sort of compensation. So he tasked the party with seeking out ancient ruins where a artifact supposedly was laid to rest. It was a crown that was supposed to give its wearer the ability to essentially scry on other people. And, being in a Cold War kind of, seems like a good idea. So the party set out and made it to the ruins. They found all this strange iconography of the ancient forgotten gods, which I did have to set to work creating a whole pantheon of gods and such. The temple, I decided to have it be dedicated to the goddess of magic and knowledge, Mirel. Um, yeah. So they go in there, they find the crown, and they're noticing there's like whispers in the dark. There's strange comings and goings, and there's already a group of people there trying to retrieve the crown. They quickly dispatch with them, and when they remove the crown, there's sort of a tremor that goes through this ancient ruin, and the bodies of the people they had slain come back to life, seemingly possessed by something. And it has been revealed that the crown was secretly a sort of a spell catalyst, sealing away ancient demons that were threatening the realm. And upon removing the crown from its place, has unleashed them upon the world. And first thing that the demons have decided to do was go to Hilltop and take it over from the inside out. And while the party has been adventuring, they haven't seen any signs of demonic activity, and it's sort of been a background question as to why. But when the party returned to Jesthaeon and delivered the crown to the king, they told him all this, and first thing he did was put on the crown and scry on Hilltop. Seeing the corruptions beginning, noticing that the high priestess of Hilltop was acting different, he tasked the party with going to Armada, teaming up with them, all this stuff, and report back to him. Each time the party has been sent off on a quest and reported back to the king, they've noticed he's become more and more paranoid, and the atmosphere in the city is becoming much more militant. And long story short, the demonic energies that were tainting the crown had begun to corrupt him, to the point that they actually had to fight him and seal him away with the help of two of the Arcanists that they had befriended along the way. The Arcanists then tasked the party with seeking out the others of their order, and in order for them to save the king from this corruption and this madness. And that's sort of what the party's been doing. They've been sort of, I hate to say it, fetch questing around the continent, visiting each capital and beseeching their Arcanist for help. Right now they have 4 in their party with them at the moment, and there are 7 total, and they're trying to go after the last one now. But the last one that they visited was in fact at Hilltop, and using his magics to keep the demons at bay and keeping them from escaping from Hilltop. He was the Green Fire Arcanist and was essentially a very high-level druid. And he had created this gigantic Jormungandr-style snake out of these vines and all this like lush, rich magics, and had been sort of like Attack on Titan-esque piloting it from the inside. And he was just sort of ever circling the base of the mountain that Hilltops is based off of and striking out at the demons whenever they tried to make a move. The party ignored all that, took the Arcanist out, and they are now trying to travel to the Deadlands, where the Black Fire Arcanist, the Master of Death, resides. That's kind of where they're at right now. And I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what happens, because during their big screw politicalness, we're over it speech, they were intercepted by Seraphs serving Hilltop, and one of them accidentally let slip some key information, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the consequences of that ensue. I've got a couple of fun things planned here or there, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. But yeah, so if you guys are interested in hearing more about the world building I've been doing, let me know. I'll probably go over gods next if you guys are into that, and we'll go from there. But I hope you all have an excellent day, and I'll see you next time.